The feminism that was supposed to protect women, protect their agency and self-respect, turned into the exact organization that did a lot of harm towards women. This hypocrisy resulted from a blind hatred toward men, resulting into the movement to put hyper-focus on women representation. That is to say, you cannot look weak in front of men. You cannot succumb to the system that are made by men. You cannot marry a man, and you cannot do anything in favor of pleasing men. Not only did it grow as a toxic narrative on the second wave feminism, it turned into very discriminative actions like doing social canceling and shaming, calling out women who choose to be a mother, for example, who choose to wear makeup or to do plastic surgery, choose to have husband, calling them whore to men, and even labeling them as anti-women. Feminism turned into a cult that do the exact oppression that they promised to fight against. Government team believe in a feminism that truly supports women. Let's put an end to this hypocrisy and we stand with choice feminism. How do we define choice feminism in this debate? One, we see it is the support of any kinds of choice made by women. For example, role in the society, career, what you want to wear, your body and what to do with it, and your maternity. Any kinds of choice are feminist, and we are not going to establish any more labeling of anti-woman. But second, how do we differentiate patriarchy then? We take a look at the means in their action. If the reason they do it is because of their own choice, then we support it. But if the reason they do it is because the incapacity of choice, for example, like fate, like social pressure that they do not consent to, or threat from families, for example, we will not embrace this. We will take action like doing education, mediation, and legal support if necessary. And lastly, choice feminism only determines whether or not something is feminist, but we do not go to the extent of legal. For example, choosing to be a serial killer might be a feminist choice, but killing is still morally and legally wrong under our side. We do not have any burden to protect that. Choice feminism still do not support mass killing. This is not a half stance because an action is equipped with not only one matrix of morality. Life is not black and white. To support this motion, government team will be proposing three arguments. One on principle. Second, we will talk about the strengthening of movement internally. But thirdly, we'll talk about buy-in followers. Firstly, on principle, let's talk about liberty. Any gender empowerment stems from personal liberty. It stems from a problem that your personal basic rights are stranded because of your social class and social construction. That means, by principle, any form of liberation must be supported and any kinds of constraint towards someone's choice must be opposed. Why is this liberation very important? This is exactly what women need. Due to generational discrimination, most women can figure out several things like identity, potential, and their own self-actualization. Your presence as feminist movement, as a support, becomes essential in that sense. Your collective knowledge as a movement, as a community, will guide these young women and also women that just come out from discrimination to shape their identity at a very early age. Choice feminism allows you to share your views and experience without actually succumbing to men, for example, through online discourse, through social media, educative contents, through seminars and daily interaction. But what most important is that choice feminism allows you to create a safe space for women to think with their own personal background, for women to actually express their desires and thoughts, to actually give them a supporting hand. The result is going to be vastly better under our side because on government side, girls can figure out better and wiser about themselves, but they also feel firm with the choice that they're making. This is important, especially when maneuver of choice might not be accessible to many women due to the less economic chances that they get through the discrimination. But second, the slander that they might feel in having a choice, for example, like coming from family, for pengajian, for example, an institution and society, might become real. On opposition, you force them to follow your own standard of being a woman, which is one is contradictory to the principle of liberation, but second, might make women obliged to live a defined life again, which makes no progress in embracing themselves. You just screw around. But secondly, talking about patriarchy then, following second wave feminism, like what opposition might want, means that you try to differ yourself from men and all their contributions they did in the society, and you focus on that separation, which is you validate their dominance then, and you validate your own incapability of coexisting with them in the society, which is showing that women are weak. But B, the identity you shape for women and from yourself will be revolving around the existence of men. This is going to be just a follow through of the social dependency that exists in the status quo that you fight against for so long. Now opposition will have it worse even then, because while status quo only force you to acknowledge men through social structure, under opposition you will make these women internalize the new dependent and vague identity. You will be forever chasing the shadows of men. But government team will stray away from this. We put agency in every woman. We tell that the power to shape yourself and to shape your future lies within your own hand. It is your choice and it is feminist. But so to sum up, government liberates women and put power in women. Opposition oppress women even further to the point of, value internalization, which is far more harmful. But second argument, talking about internally how this benefits our movement. The problem with why feminism becomes hard to progress is because of two difficulties. Number one is the polarization of spectrum. That is to say, feminism in the West talks about equal pay, for example, but in the Middle East, feminism still talks about domestic abuse and how to survive it. But secondly, about funding. How does government team solve this? One, talking about spectrum. We create a common ground that these two spectrums can meet that do not contradict each other. Protecting yourself from domestic abuse and fighting for equal pay and your white-collar career, for example, might be contradictory in the status quo, because one will succumb to men and one will stray away from men. But on government, you put them in the same narrative that whether you want to be safe and whether you want to get equal pay is a choice and it is feminist. The manifestation are threefold. Number one, narrative embraces you and it's become relatable for everyone. But second, everyone has the same metrics to support each other now and not slander each other. But lastly, the most important thing is that now privileged communities like the West will be able to reach out to the East, for example, that still fights for survivability. Choice feminism gives them a relatable goal now. Now you can bridge legal assistance, political pressure to the government, and even grassroots movement, which is much very needed in the East. But two, talking about funding now, we encourage privileged feminists to help donating and funding the movement. This is essential because facing system does require money. Why status quo cannot have this? Because privileged women focus on beating men instead of becoming themselves. But two, helping means you clash the empowerment interests of women to not be dependent, since you are so crazy about being powerful and not showing any weakness. But now, helping and acquiring fund will be justified under our narrative because giving out fund is a powerful choice and it's feminist, and being vulnerable is not succumbing to the system, it's not showing any weakness, but a choice to improve yourself and exercise your liberty, which is also feminist. Lastly, on buy-in. Why choice feminism is better and more attractive narrative? It destroys barrier. Women that might not be as bold will have room to figure it themselves. But secondly, you can use established system like school, pengajian, and PKK to penetrate to patriarchal areas so you won't be seen as too radical. As this is not a watered down message also, because now everyone has a choice and you still liberate them and make them aware of you or your movement. And once they are inside your movement, it is easier for you to educate them and make them the women that they have to be. So that's why back to propose.